Today, let's recognize when we're operating from reactive patterns so that we can live with more intention. Patterns operate to degrade our attention because they operate from fears of the past, experiences that were too overwhelming to bear, and create anxieties of those situations happening again in the future. So these reactive patterns create an energetic drain that operates subconsciously. And by recognizing them, we create the opportunity to live with more presence in ways that align with our most liberating intentions. Have you noticed reactive patterns operate stronger in adversity? So when we have friends or teachers or significant others are really good at doing this, they help us recognize our patterned behaviors by triggering us, by poking us right where it hurts, right where we have some sort of traumas or unfelt emotions. And just the same, and perhaps even more helpful, though more difficult to appreciate in the moment, are the contributions that come from people and situations that create more adversity within us. People who have the complete opposite, contrasting ways of living. They have a really good way of showing us where we're not yet free. So by paying attention to how we react under stress, we can see patterned behaviors more clearly. And have you also noticed reactive patterns create unfulfilled expectations? This is another way to notice when a reactive pattern is operating. By carefully observing the actions that a pattern creates and the results that a pattern creates, we can see where there's a misalignment, and that leads us to recognize the pattern. When our actions are consistently contrary to our intentions or expectations. When we notice this, we know we're operating out of a pattern as opposed to operating out of awareness, present moment awareness. So let's practice. To recognize a pattern, we simply bring attention to a pattern again and again, and observe it again and again. Just taking a nice deep breath, coming into your senses. Maybe bringing to mind a moment when a significant other has triggered a reactive response in you. And just observing this reactive pattern. Sitting in attention, letting the pattern play out in your imagination. As you bring this pattern to your awareness, you might notice any of the following to further recognize how the pattern plays out in your experience. It might be a shift in the body, a shift in an emotional state or a perception of things. You might notice a pattern play out as a repeated chain of reactive emotions. You might notice familiar automatic behaviors, maybe physical behaviors, verbal or mental. You might notice familiar results, such as how your relationship with others is affected. And of course, you might notice a divergence between your intention and what actually happens. So hold this practice with you for today to notice, recognize when a pattern is playing, and remembering that when we bring attention to the pattern, it naturally loosens its grip. Nice work. Thank you for joining me on today's intentional session. Honestly, taking a look at our patterns is courageous work. It can feel very vulnerable as we feel the unfelt emotions that created the pattern in the first place. So this repeated practice of recognizing and observing a pattern cultivates a higher level of attention, which allows us to interrupt the pattern and release the stuck energy and dissolve the pattern's operation. Feel free to repeat today's affirmation after me to further speak this pattern interruption into your being. The inner light I keep is always on and always alive. Nothing heavy can obstruct who I really am deep down inside. I am endlessly renewed in the present moment. So here and now, I abide. I recognize patterns as they arise. And in doing so, become free from their grip. Perhaps bringing some attention to a supportive relationship in your life right now. A relationship that helps you recognize your reactive patterns of behavior in a very graceful, gentle, loving way that allows you to see them and cut them with your loving awareness. Enjoy the day, enjoy your life, enjoy noticing the patterns and releasing their grip and being a little bit more free today. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow as we practice disidentifying with these patterns after we notice them.